Hi, welcome to lesson 2. So today we're going to do the bass clef. If you look back at video 1 and 1.2, I split the lesson into two halves just to make things a little bit easier to understand. So I covered the notes on the keyboard and the notes on the staves in two separate parts. I'm going to do both parts together today because I'm just sort of still getting used to the format of how I'm going to do these videos. So we'll just see what works. So where we left off on the treble clef, we're going to start from the middle C, but this time we're going to go down the keyboard, so to my left. And that part from the very bottom key to the middle C is what we would call the bass part of the piano, or certainly the lower end of the piano. So the bass stave meets the treble stave around the middle C. It's not a hard and fast rule. There are obviously exceptions to every rule. So you will see notes above the middle C written in bass clef and vice versa for the treble clef, but that's for another time. If you just remember for now that middle C is one line above the bass clef stave, and if you look at video 1, it's one line below the treble clef stave. So we're coming backwards from middle C this time. So it's quite confusing at first because everybody sees this note that looks exactly the same as the middle C does and thinks, oh, it's got to be a C. Unfortunately not. So this note is an E. So on bass clef, the circle with a line through underneath the stave, so one line below the stave, is an E. And it's this E here. So if we take middle C, which is there, we're coming down a full octave and a half to the E that's the lowest note drawn on my stave here. So it would be not this E, but this one. So middle C, the lowest note on this particular stave, which is that E right there. And I sort of missed this out on video 1, and I should have really mentioned it. So the top note of a musical alphabet is a G. And then it's alphabetic for everything else. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and then G, and then it cycles back round. So E is the lowest note, and then we're just going up by step for every other note. So it would be F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to middle C. So you can sort of see how I've started that, and if you screenshot this at the end, I'll draw the arrows onto every note so you can see where they lie. So that's just a rough idea of how we find the middle C in bass clef, which again, if we remember, it's the line above the bass stave. So the line above, and then it's a circle with a line through it. And the lowest note of the bass stave is the E, which is again about an octave and a half to the left of the middle C. When it comes to reading the notes on the stave, obviously sometimes the notes don't always come in order, so you've got to be able to read quickly what different notes are. So a couple of little ideas for you. A mnemonic I use with a lot of kids. For the spacers, I say all cows eat grass. And that one tends to stick in their head quite well. The lines are a bit more tricky. I mean, there isn't sort of a specific one for this, not one that I've seen anyway, that's always the same. So one that I came up with that tends to work quite well is great big dogs fool around. And again, if we follow the same principle as we did for lesson 1, we take the first letter of each word, and that gives us the note on the line. So, great big dogs fool around. Excuse my terrible handwriting. And then A, C, E, G. So it's the same principle as video 1. So if you want to go back over that and learn the ones for the treble clef and then learn these, So when you're starting off, these work perfect. Obviously, the way you want to do it, you just want to get so sure of what notes they are that you don't have to rely on these little poems anymore. But definitely when you're starting, it gives you a really good point to begin with. So that's the notes of the bass clef. If you want to know anything else, please leave a comment or head over to my Facebook page. There's a link on the end of the video with my web address on. I am in the process of having a website made, so as soon as that's up and going, I will put links in the descriptions to these videos. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope that helps.